who said animated movies are just for kids? Now that we're halfway into the 2020s, I thought it would be fun to rank what I think are the top 10 best animated movies of the decade so far. And it's been a great last couple years for animation. As I always say, this is my subjective opinion. If there's a movie on here that you think should have been higher on my list or wasn't on my list at all that you think should have been on here, or one that is on here but you think doesn't belong, feel free to continue the conversation in the comments. But this is my list of the top 10 best animated movies of the decade so far, and kicking off that list at number 10 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Yeah, this is how is this the best Shrek movie? I don't think I was expecting much from it at all, but this is the best movie of the franchise. And it also depicts like a very accurate portrayal of anxiety when Puss realizes like he's down to his last life and he fights with the wolf. But the animation is lovely, the themes are great, the action is terrific, it is so much fun. It's got such a lovely cast, including Wagner Moura as the incredibly villainous wolf, and Goldilocks, voiced by Florence Pugh, and like her parents, voiced by Olivia Colman and Ray Winstone. Number 9, Raya and the Last Dragon. This is such a stunning adventure. The animation is so gorgeous, and the voice cast, again, great. Awkwafina in particular is really fun as the dragon Sisu. Sandra Oh also is wonderful as the antagonist here, sort of. Again, it just looks so beautiful. And also the score here, and it does a very good job of balancing like the sillier aspects but the very serious conflicts between the characters. But it's also really lovely themes wise, even if like it's not something we haven't seen before. From an emotional level, it's done so beautifully, and the ending like honestly moved me to tears here. Number 8, The Mitchells versus the Machines. One that I, again, like was not expecting good things from at all. I remember it was originally called Connected and was supposed to come out in theaters. Then the pandemic made them move it to Netflix, and I kind of just watched it because it had like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and man, what a fun movie. Again, beautiful animation, but the characters and the story and the themes of family and I guess, you know, making your own way and accepting one another for your differences and working together. And I guess it's something I can deeply relate to as like the oldest brother, and this character, she's like an aspiring filmmaker, and that's really sweet. But also the action with all the big robots, and Olivia Colman, again, great voice performance from her as the villain here. Eric Andre is also like a billionaire here, who like creates this evil AI, very relevant with the dangers of billionaires and AIs. This one's on Netflix, so if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out The Mitchells versus the Machines. Number 7, Inside Out 2, yet another animated movie that has a very realistic depiction of anxiety attacks, and Maya Hawke's anxiety is so great here. All of the voice cast is, I feel like it really matches the beauty of the first movie, and also the resonance of growing up, but also, you know, things that adults deal with, like anxiety, like embarrassment, and envy, who's voiced very well by Iowa Debris, by the way. Some of the animation of like the parts of Riley's brain that we hadn't seen in the first one look so gorgeous that you almost like want to see it again just for those parts. Number 6, Encanto. One that definitely grew on me over time, but such great musical numbers. You know, you can sing We Don't Talk About Bruno all you want, but that is just one of so many wonderful songs that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote here. Again, very dysfunctional family, terrific protagonist voiced by Stephanie and Beatriz, great animation, really powerful themes about, I guess, generational trauma and acceptance. It goes to show that the music has really resonated with people years later. I don't think it's quite as good as, say, Coco, but I did absolutely love Encanto, and one that I look forward to watching again many times. Number 5 is Flow, a movie with no actual spoken dialogue, but still really personifies, I guess, its main characters, the cat, the dog, who is so lovely. Again, all they do is like make animal sounds, but basically there's a flood in this forest, and a cat and a dog and a bird and a couple others are stuck on this this boat and they have to learn to get along, and it's so sweet, but the animation is so stunning. They look like watercolor paintings coming to life in front of you, but you also deeply feel for the cat and understand his journey, or her, I'm not sure, even though the cat is only actually meowing. When I say it sounds silly, but it's genuinely such a profound movie. Like, kids of all ages can enjoy it because it's family friendly and it's about animated animals, but I think adults can really understand it thematically and from an action and story perspective. And again, it just looks so stunning. When I think of Flow, there are some scenes that just stand out so much. Number 4, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, also one you can find on Netflix, and I think the best ever adaptation of Pinocchio. Great voice cast here, including David Bradley as Geppetto, Christoph Waltz as a very villainous character, Ewan McGregor as Jiminy Cricket. But not only does it have, the themes and story plot points of Pinocchio that we're familiar with, but it also touches on really powerful themes like mortality, or the way children get brainwashed and forced into fascist regimes, which is honestly really deep. But especially the themes of mortality and death really elevate Pinocchio, and Guillermo del Toro's depiction of this story is so beautiful and mature, and he co-directed this film with Mark Gustafsson, who has sadly passed away since this movie came out. May he rest in peace. Number 3 is Soul, another Pete Docter masterwork from Pixar. Not quite as good as, say, Inside Out or maybe even Up, but I think Soul resonates so much because it really speaks to the human journey, to embracing life, to pursuing your creative or professional goals, while also remembering that sometimes the ordinary things in life are the things we take for granted. And sometimes it's important to keep going after our big dreams, but the destination is not what we should amount life to. It's every step on the way. And the voice cast is great. Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Richard Ayoade, Angela Bassett, Felicia Rashad. I think there's a reason that this movie, made such an impact, not just because it looks so real and gorgeous, but also because the music is lively from Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, and John Batiste, and the script is so human and deep, and you could even go back and discover new things. And also the blend of, real New York jazz with this colorful plane of the afterlife just makes it so unforgettable. Number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I feel like a lot of the movies that we're talking about here, like Puss in Boots or Mitchell's vs. the Machines, or even Flow, which was produced in Latvia, I feel like Into the Spider-Verse paved the way. With the 2D coloring on 3D animation, it pushed the boundaries of what was possible for animation. But I think Across is even better. I think the themes are even stronger, especially about, father and child relationships. Yeah, it's just so big and so powerful, and one of the most mature and beautiful and captivating animated movies I think I've ever seen. From a scale and editing and animation perspective, it must have taken them so much work to pull it off and make it look easy. But my number 1 animated movie of the 2020s so far is The Wild Robot. I had to rewatch it just to make sure this wasn't recency bias, but I was right. The Wild Robot really put a spell on me. It's, again, amazing animation, the themes, the editing, Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, everyone in the voice cast. Stephanie Hsu is like a villainous robot. The themes of Roz raising Bright Bill, some of the editing, of this montage of her training Bright Bill. The last couple minutes really get me emotional, and I feel like it's a movie that really trusts and respects its audience. It's got some fun animal chases and action, but it's also got some really mature themes for all ages, and just an absolutely wonderful story that I think this is going to go down as an all-time animated classic when we look back at it in a couple years. So that was my list. Let me know which animated movies I left out and where you would have changed the order. Make sure you're following me here and all across social media. You can find the links for that in my description. And again, looking forward to continuing the conversation in the comments about this list, and stay tuned for more content here on the channel.